Claims are not included.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday, February 19th, 2020 meeting of the Lebanon Utility Service Board. Let the record reflect that all board members are present and that there was a short working session prior. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item tonight is approval of the minutes from the February 5th meeting. Everyone had a chance to review the minutes? Any questions or discussion on those minutes?
I'd make a motion, we approve the minutes as written.
Second.
Motion made by Jim and seconded by Bill to approve the minutes from the February 5th, 2020 meeting. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that item carries. Okay, next item on the agenda is an action item. Our Water Department Manager Ryan Ottinger is on the podium, and Ryan's going to talk about the emergency services. Hey, Ryan.
How are you? Yes, this emergency services bid went out, properly advertised in the Reporter on January 18th and the 25th. I believe 5, 6, maybe 7 bid packages were picked up by different contractors. We did receive 2, a bid package from Atlas Excavating and Bowen Engineering. After reviewing the Bowen bid, after Mr. Jacob looked at it and BF&S, Butler, Fairman, Cypher Engineering, it was determined to be incomplete based on the amount of information that was left out. So, but Atlas did complete a bid. Atlas is who we used previously in the same role. This role is basically just an emergency service agreement for anything that we would have that we cannot handle in-house. Perfect example, if you'll remember, or later in 2019, we had a 24-inch valve that went bad. Atlas was able to purchase that valve for us and also able to excavate the area and help, and our crew did the repair, but we just didn't have the equipment to excavate down to the valve. So this is allowing them to, or allowing us to, at midnight and with a major emergency, not have to go and do the bid process. It's an emergency. We can go through this, get it taken care of. I have tried to mitigate those circumstances, and we will have multiple 24-inch valves on the shelf now with a 24-inch sleeve, but we would still have excavation issues that we could not complete. We would like to see more contractors bid on this, so we're working with the contractors who picked up a package but either had an incomplete bid or didn't submit a bid to see if there's language that maybe scared them away or if they didn't understand, because to me, the more eggs in different baskets that we have for emergency services, the better off that we obviously are in one of those emergencies with the 24-inch main from Sugar Creek. And it's not just specific to that, but that's the largest emergency that would concern me at this point. So this would just be the approval of the contract for Atlas to provide emergency services.
See, the home office is in West Lafayette. Do they have crews more nearby, or?
Yeah, depending on the time of year and the projects that they have going on, but they work throughout central Indiana, so they could actually have a crew in Lebanon, they could have one in Indianapolis, just depending on the work, but the farthest away they would be West Lafayette, okay. Yeah.
And also, the contract is written so that if other utility departments, other than the water utility, had a problem, an emergency that they could service, that they would respond to that also. Is that
yes, electric, wastewater, it is a utility package, so it's not limited to one department or another department. It's if if the electric crew had a major catastrophe and they didn't have the equipment, and Atlas was able to provide it, or able to give us someone who can provide it, the network that they have and the net that they can cast on gathering equipment and gathering supplies is larger than what ours is. So they would be able to, we would benefit from that also.
Thank you.
Anything else for Ryan?
I do have a comment that if the board agrees with my opinion and that of Butler, Fairman, and Seifert, and I think Mr. Ottinger, that the Bowen bid was incomplete, I would like the board to weigh in on that because we need to specifically reject that bid.
I was at the bid opening myself, and it was noted at the time that there were some apparent deficiencies and signature lacks, so what I observed at the time of the bid opening backs up with your legal opinion, in my opinion.
Yeah, the board is certainly able to waive some elements of a bid where there's a clerical error or, or something of the like, but there were several substantive deficiencies in this bid.
So do we need to make a motion to?
I would like to have a separate motion that the Bowen bid is found to be deficient and therefore rejected.
So moved.
How would you word that motion, sir?
Sounds like we just had a motion. Okay, so we will entertain an official motion then to reject the bid from, say, Bowen?
Yep.
Due to deficiency within that bid? Fair?
I so move.
Second.
Okay, a motion made by Aaron, seconded by Dan to reject the Bowen bid as deficient. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and then if there's no other discussion or questions for Ryan, I'd entertain motions on the bid for emergency services going to Atlas Excavating.
I make a motion to award the bid for emergency service to Atlas Excavating with General Manager Baskel as the signator for the forthcoming agreement after approved by legal counsel.
Second.
Motion made by Dan, seconded by Bill to approve the bid for emergency services to Atlas Excavating with the general manager signing for approval. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thanks, Ryan. It looks like you got another item here, and that is the wastewater treatment plant vehicle.
So this purchase would replace our pretreatment vehicle, which is our pretreatment program. Tony Green is certified in wastewater pretreatment. This just ensures in the industrial park or any business, his inspection and his certification ensures that they're not sending anything to our wastewater treatment plant that doesn't comply with IDEM standards or comply with what our wastewater treatment plant is designed to handle. So the current vehicle for that position is a 2000 Dodge Dakota that is just not in good shape. This would allow the wastewater treatment plant to purchase a four-door, four-wheel drive, which is a vehicle that they do not have a four-door vehicle or a capacity to put four adults in any vehicles at the wastewater treatment plant, and also allow the pre-treatment vehicle to now be upgraded to a 2007 GMC extended cab full-size pickup with a camper shell that would have all his equipment in there, would cosmetically be a much better vehicle for inspections and on-site dealings with the pre-treatment aspect of this company. This is only going to grow. The pre-treatment, every time we have a large industrial user come in, they are either through IDEM or through the utilities added to the pre-treatment program. So it will never be smaller than it is right now, and we actually just have one person doing it. We're in the process of doing some cross-training. So this vehicle purchase will allow a better vehicle for pre-treatment. It will also allow a snowplow four-wheel drive vehicle for the wastewater treatment plant. and also allow us to now have the 2000 vehicle that is older and has a lot of wear and tear on it to be used for putting mowers in the back of, or if we have any younger summer help that's not comfortable driving a large vehicle, they can drive this to off-site areas or around utility properties and this summer. So we did get, we got 2 local bids. We had a third bid from the Dodge dealership in Indianapolis. The 2 local bids came in for the GMC and for a Ford F-250, and the Ford F-250, it was a budgeted amount for this vehicle was $45,000, and it actually came in a little over $13,000 under budget at $31,000. So that and being a local Gene Lewis Ford vehicle is my recommendation for the purchase for a new vehicle for the wastewater treatment plant.
Okay, Ryan, just for the record, this vehicle will replace a 20-year-old vehicle, and we will retain that vehicle as, for projects that are as needed, obvious upgrade here on a 20-year-old truck.
Yes, yeah, not only upgrade with reliability and nickel and diming, but also an upgrade with practicality, and also an upgrade with all the certifications that we have, our crew has been obtaining, which is a fantastic accomplishment, comes continuing education hours that we have to go to conferences, go to training. This allows the wastewater treatment plant to now not have to borrow a vehicle to get 3 or 4 adults in. They can take their own vehicle and still keep other vehicles for other departments free and attend that training, and just gives us a lot more reliability and a lot more redundancy with full-size four-wheel drive pickups.
Okay.
And this vehicle replacement's also in our 10-year vehicle replacement plan, correct?
Yes,
And it's also included in our current budget.
correct, yes.
Got one question.
Yes.
The 2000, is it mechanically sound to the best of your knowledge?
It is.
Okay.
It's been kept up well. It's just the minute there's a little snow or any, but for a vehicle for us to keep, there is still a value for us to maintain this vehicle and have it in our fleet.
Got some rust, but still runs.
Yes, the story of my life.
Any other questions for Ryan or discussion on this wastewater treatment plant vehicle? If not, I'd entertain some motions.
I make a motion, we approve the quote from Gene Lewis Ford to purchase a Ford F-250 crew cab for the wastewater treatment plant for an amount
Second.
not to exceed $31,908.
Second?
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Aaron, to approve the purchase of the Ford F-250 from Gene Lewis Ford for a not-to-exceed amount of $31,908. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the water distribution backhoe. That item, I believe, will be tabled tonight. We need motions for tabling that, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've moved that we table it to the next meeting. Linda, what date is that?
March the 4th.
March the 4th.
Second.
Motion made by Dan and seconded by Bill to table the water distribution backhoe action item until the March 4th, 2020 meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next item is approval of the claims. Everybody had a chance to review the claims. Any questions or discussion? If not, I'll entertain some motions for the claims.
I'd make a motion, we approve the claims.
Second.
Motion made by Jim, and a tie with Bill and Dan for second.
Give it to Bill.
Any other discussion on the claims? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, next item is other business that may come before the board. Ed, do you have anything tonight?
Yes, I do. I have a short presentation. Sandra's going to manage the slides for me. Appreciate it. I'm calling it the General Manager Update for February 2020. So, I guess for the people who don't know me on television, my name's Ed Baskell. I'm the General Manager for Lebanon Utilities, and I have a leadership quote of the day. Today's quote comes from General George S. Patton. A good plan, violently executed now, is better than a perfect plan, executed next week. I like this quote for the utility business because we are out there fixing water mains, keeping the sewer from backing up in the storms and the rain when you're snug in your bed, just like the military is doing. And we often have to execute a less than perfect plan to get things done. And I just applaud our guys for that, and it's one of my favorite leaders. So, talking about emergency call-outs, this picture is courtesy of Brian Ottinger, who you guys know well. He's our frequent guest. This is on Noble Street. It's a water main break that happened overnight. Our crews were all hands on deck, on site at 5:30 in the morning. 11 degrees outside, and they were out there at 11:30 fixing this water main break. And they got it done, and they did a great job. And I appreciate all of them. And here they are here's a picture of the clamp on that water main break. So kudos to Ryan and crew. Just want to give you some, we had a lot going on in the last couple of weeks, but I'll give you some brief facts about each department, what's going on. The electric utility, when you drive by the Lau substation, as you may know, the Lau substation was a temporary substation that was in service for 30 years, which is the definition of temporary in the utility business. It's been out of service for several months, and we've got it completely decommissioned now. The concrete's not there, the electric equipment's not there. If you drive by, you will just see gravel. We also have Asplunk doing a great job out in the field trimming trees. We've got staker training going on with a lot of our linemen, and I've just completed a class in staker training myself, so working on that. We just covered some of the things going on with water, but we do have survey letters going out on Syracuse Avenue for that project that's upcoming. Wastewater plant expansion is on schedule. Looking to have the wastewater plant completely renovated in August. Telecom continues to generate new customer requests and requests for survey, and things are moving along fine with telecom. So, be a brief project overview. Sugar Creek Water Treatment Plant, that's been completed, but it's made our plant more reliable. From touring the facilities and talking to Ryan and seeing pictures from before that project began, it's just night and day. We've greatly improved the reliability of Lebanon's system, and that's an award-winning project that we're going to go to the ACSC conference to see BF&S, the engineer on the firm, get a project award for that. The 69 kV line, that's been completed. There's 2 feeds to most places in Lebanon now. What that means to you is if there's a major event where there's a power outage, it's going, that you're going to get a second feed from the other side of the community. You're not going to have the power out for a very long time, which is a great thing for the community, great thing for anyone that wants to move here. The wastewater plant upgrade, it increases the capacity from 3.3 to 5 MGD. The park and street lighting partnership with the city, we're meeting with them in coming days to help them with their lighting needs and help them with the project. Syracuse Drive water main improvements, I made mention of that as far as the survey letters going out, but that's a water main that has had many breaks, and we're going to make that part of our capital plan and fix it. And CIP is an acronym we use, stands for Capital Improvement Plan. We have updates to this capital improvement plan that are going on all the time, but most recently we're focused on the electric capital improvement plan to see what our needs are for the coming years and make sure that we've planned for it in advance. Okay, Light the Night, I have a clip of our Mayor Gentry, talking about his Light the Light campaign.
Safe. The partnership between the city and LCSC has my full support, and I believe it should continue for many years to come. For 2020, I'm also announcing a new crime-fighting initiative. We all know that evil thrives in dark places. In a partnership with 11 utilities, I'm proposing that we light the night by more than doubling the number of street lights here in Lebanon. This increased street lighting will make it easier for our finest to prevent and fight crime. We continue to add additional fire.
Okay, so that's the Light the Night campaign. We're meeting with the mayor and Kevin Krulik and team to talk about that, I think, tomorrow. And I had Sandra rewinding to, there's another good mention of LCSC on his State of the City speech at about 2.5 minutes in.
As equally as important as the strong financial base, we must continue to address the physical foundation of our city, our infrastructure. The roads, bridges, sidewalks, wastewater lines, and especially the water lines that every citizen and visitor to Lebanon expect to work. Despite its integral role in our daily existence, it's far too easy to overlook. People turn on the faucet and water comes out. They run the washing machine and give little thought to the millions of dollars of underground pipes that are necessary to make that simple action possible. Unfortunately, we've seen too many examples around America of communities that have ignored their water and wastewater systems. As a mayor, I can promise you that this is not something that is being overlooked. Lebanon Utilities continues to work hand in hand with the city to improve and replace our oldest and most challenging sections of our system. Whenever a large project is undertaken, we are sure to replace all of the pipes under the ground, as well as the visible road and sidewalks. In Mason's future, I hope that he will never have to worry about the safety of his water.
Okay, so it's great to have a mayor and city council that is so supportive of our infrastructure and supportive of our various bonds and expenditures for improving the water and wastewater systems, and we just hope that continues. And we have a joint session coming up with them next week, and it's going to be great to speak with them about the projects we're excited about that are up and coming. So, any questions on that so far? All right, well, I'll continue then. Ready for development is the next section. I just want to touch on how growth pays for growth and how our capacity availability fees work. I want to talk about an exciting upgrade to the Technical Advisory Committee, or easier to say TAC, participation from the utility. We've upgraded our participation there to help. And water resources development, to answer some questions I've received about where our water is going to come from. Okay, what I'm trying to demonstrate here in this table is water EDUs, or equivalent dwelling units, and availability fees. I didn't include a timeline on this, but what I did is I'm having the EDUs increase double on every line. And you can see as the EDUs increase from, say, it starts at 0.2, that's $780,000 of water availability fees. When you get up to 1, that's $3.1 million. So what happens is growth pays for growth. As developers hook on, they give us availability fees. We put those availability fees in a fund, and we fund capital projects with them to build that capacity. So when I get asked the question, can Lebanon Utilities afford to serve some development somewhere, it doesn't matter which one, my answer is yes, as long as they're paying their availability fees and as long as we're planning properly, which we are, because we're constantly planning. This graph is the wastewater treatment plant capacity versus projected flow. You can see the big knuckle there in 2020 is the expansion being complete to 5 MGD. That expansion will take care of us for years to come, and we're not looking to run out of capacity, projected capacity, until 2027. Before that time, we will have used availability fees to increase our capacity in some way, be it an additional plant or an additional plant expansion. Here's the same graph for the water treatment plant capacity. Again, we're in pretty good shape on water. We're looking to do something to increase capacity in 2029, possibly with wells and a plant upgrade. Also on the table is purchasing water or whatever we might need to do to get water to serve our customers. Let me talk a little bit about our upgraded utility TAC participation. We have a licensed professional engineer reviewing plans on the behalf of the utilities. That's John Leitner from BF&S. We are now able to provide detailed comments to the developer. In the past, the city has said we haven't provided enough comments. Well, right now they're very happy with the comments we provide, and the last 2 TAC meetings I've personally attended seem to have gone very well. we developed a welcome packet with need-to-know information for developers based on various ordinances and standards. Developers work in different communities, and sometimes they have to hunt around our website for the city or for the utility and our different ordinances to see what the rules are. We put that all in one spot and hand it to them. We've already seen soft cost savings for city, utility, and developers of over $30,000 to date. Probably larger than that. $30,000 is conservative, just based on one project where with some avoided costs. So I'm really excited about what we're doing with the city and with TAC. Okay, last item. This is just a hot topic lately. What is payment in lieu of tax? Formal definition, a pilot is a payment in lieu of taxes made to compensate a local government for some or all of the tax revenue that it loses because of the nature of the ownership or use of a particular piece of real property. In layman's terms, there's a lot of utilities owned by private investors that pay taxes. We're public and don't pay tax, so we pay them the tax they would have gotten. Here's a graph of the history of pilot. So in general, I know there's some discussion on pilot from a utility standpoint. We give back to the community with pilot the same as tax. I don't really have an opinion on what the city does with pilot money. I just want to help the community any way I can and for the betterment of Lebanon. So with that, that's the end of my slides. Is there any questions? Did I spark any ideas or comments from the board?
I like your presentation, Ed. Thanks.
Well, thank you.
Anybody else have any business for the board or anything else for Ed? Any comment from the public tonight? Okay, looks like our next meeting scheduled for Wednesday, March 4th, 5 p.m. Before I adjourn, is there anything else for the board or from the public? All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion made by Bill, seconded by Jim to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thanks, everyone.